Hello, today we're doing one of my favorite horror movies of this year so far, Oregon Trail. This is an Oregon Trail horror movie. Now, for those who don't know, the Oregon Trail was not just one of the few video games they recommended you play in school, had you play in school that during the 80s and 90s, which was very few video games they actually had you play. But was a real thing that started in let's see, where did it start? Started in Kansas and it went to Oregon. Real thing. Now this movie happens on the Oregon Trail, which it doesn't really, could happen in Montana, and the Oregon Trail didn't go through Montana. But it is the touching story of a girl who finds love and hope by losing her family to bandits and going after the horse, who is the only family she has left. So let's jump right in. It starts with a dog whining. So for all of you people who have dogs in the rooms with you when you watch movies, this will be fun for you. Then we go to a Montana summer where a snowstorm is happening. They are trying to pack up their summer quarters and leave before more snow comes. Am I making fun of Montana? No, of course not. I never make fun of a state that has more cows than people. So they pack up and head down in the valley, where they are safe for now. And Abigail, our lead, tries to head out with her brother to scout the area. But her mother makes her stay back to prepare food, because that's what women did in the 1870s. But her father and her brother are going to go out hunting with the only about 6 bullets they have left. They shoot a deer and hit it, but it is not a kill shot. So her father hands her brother a knife and tells her to go hunt the deer with a knife. And then he comes upon a wagon train that has been beset by what looks like Indians. And they find a woman sit up against a wall with arrows through her hands and beaten on. They rescue her, of course, and her father knows medicine because he served in the war and was a medic. The war, of course, is a civil war for those who don't know history. They take her back, they sew her hands, and they keep her and they warm her up. That night, she disappears into the night, and Abigail watches her disappear out of the tent. Then Abigail wakes up and hears strangers outside talking to the woman. We find out her name is Cassie, by the way. I'll be referring to her as Cassie from now on. Then knives appear, slit the parent's throat, an arrow kills the brother. Abigail goes to escape, and she finds the bandits. Logan, Reese, somebody, and Felix. Somebody's name is not important. He dies very shortly soon. I think his name is Bryce. Or Bobby, something like that. Cassie says to spare Abigail because she tried to help her. So they take Abigail back to the town. The town they took over, now known as the town of Logan, who is clearly the leader. Logan says he should just kill both Cassie and Abigail. But then Abigail puts his guns back in his holster, showing that she's a good girl. Which fellatio would have worked the same, but apparently they can't show that in movies anymore. Meanwhile, we go out to Reese, who is doing blacksmithing with no gloves on, and it's revealed that he can't feel anything, which means he can't feel all the feelings he hurt when he didn't accept anybody's birthday cards, when he threw away all those birthday cards. Now, they go to take Abigail on a tour, on a job with them to rob somebody, because these are bandits that rob and kill, to train her as they've trained Cassie, to be bait and go to these people's tents, and then they rob and kill them. But Abigail cuts her binds with some glass she broke earlier, tries to escape. Bryce, or Bobby, or whatever his name is, tries to stop her and fires his gun in the air about 5 or 6 times. And bullets have to go somewhere. They don't just disappear into the sky when you fire them into the air, and they come back down, killing Bryce or Bobby or whatever his name is, and putting a hole in this lake, which Abigail then jumps down. Well, it's a river, which Abigail then jumps down into the river, escaping. Felix then hands Cassie his gun. Logan tells Cassie, find her. Dead or alive, I want her found. And the bandits head off to the job. Now, Abigail finds her way out. There was a man ice fishing who does catch a fish, and Abigail pops out of the hole. And a man tries to get her to warm up there, but she says she's running from the devil. Which, as we later find out, she is not running from the devil yet. So the man takes her back to his ranch, where she refuses to tell anyone her name, but she gets warmed up with a hot bath and by the fire, and then sneaks off during the night, stealing their horse. Cassie, on the other hand, finds a campsite and warms up, and realizes her hands are now infected, and she can't do much with them. But then, going down to get water from the river, she finds Abigail's trail, and is leaving arrowheads in the trees to find her way back, heading to where she thinks Abigail is going to go, her dead family's death place. Because where else do teenage girls like to go but to see their dead family's remains? And she runs into Abigail there, after Cassie's already buried her family. And they realize they can be friends. We find out the guy who found Abigail's name is Eric, and he goes looking for his horse, only to find the arrows in the trees. Stops off at the feed store to ask the man what he knows about the arrowheads. And he says he knows nothing, but mentions the word arrowhead, which gets Reese's attention, who's sitting there, who continues to beat the crap out of both of them. Reese has some anger issues. And Eric reveals that he found them in trees. And Reese tells Eric they're now partners in getting his horse back and fighting the woman. Well, they find Cassie. They do not find Abigail. Abigail is up on a hill. Cassie admits that she stole the horse and she thinks Abigail is dead. So they take the horse and Cassie, and Reese shoots Eric. Abigail then comes down after they've left, finds Eric to be still alive. His pack on his chest under his coats saved his life. The buckle saved his life, stopping the bullet. And Abigail reveals that she's going after the horses. And Eric says he's coming too. Now, I haven't mentioned this yet, but Eric's wife is pregnant. And looking to be quite a bit ways into the pregnancy. So he does have something to go back to if he gets slaughtered. Well, Cassie is punished. She is beaten, tied to a post, her feet in snow, and told if she survives the night, she can party with them again. Reese, thinking Logan went too lenient on her, gets in Logan's face. Logan pulls out his guns. Reese tries to stop him. Reese gets part of his ear blown off. But Reese gets the guns and shoots Logan in the dick. Because where else would you shoot a guy who's apparently got problems with his woman, but in the dick? Then drags Logan outside, tells Felix, you're either with me or I'm going to shoot you in the dick. And Felix goes with Reese now. And then proceeds to dump water onto Cassie, telling her if she survives the night, she can stay with them. Well, shortly after the night, Abigail and Eric arrive. Abigail breaks into the compound to steal the horses. Sees Cassie tied up and goes to break her out. Felix catches her, but gives her his knife to free Cassie. Throws a blanket around Cassie. And they get Abigail's family's horse back. But wouldn't you know it, Reese shows up, firing bullets at him. Well, Abigail, Cassie, and the horse get away. Felix goes after Reese. Reese fires his gun, but he misses. Then his gun jams. Then he pulls out another gun, and Felix throws a lantern up in the air, which Reese hits, and flames go down and light Reese on fire. Some of the worst fire CGI you will ever see. And Felix and Reese burns. Felix takes a few steps back, realizes he's been hit through the chest, and dies. And you think that's the end of the story, but you'd be wrong. Because there's a rather interesting part of survivor's remorse scene here. But that's not the end of the story, because Reese is still alive. And he hops on the horse, the remaining horse, and goes to the ranch, where they confront him when they get there. And they have the final fight, where he shoots Eric in the leg, beats the crap out of Abigail, and shoves an arrow through Cassie's chest, which Cassie then impales Reese on. And they both die. And that's the end of the movie. This is a good movie. It's surprisingly good. It's got a little bit of blood, not much. I mean, it's got some blood, and the blood is realistic looking, and it's pretty good. I give it 12 out of 10 stars. Join me next week when we're doing La Manor di Diablo, or in English, The Haunted Castle, also called, what is it also called? The Castle of the House of the Devil. Also called the Haunted Castle and the House of the Devil. The first horror movie ever made from 1896. See you then.